Okay, today we will discuss on property, plant and equipment. So property, plant and equipment are long-term assets that are tangible in nature and are used in the production or supply of goods and services. So property, plant and equipment is a long-term assets. So these are tangible in nature. That means we can see and touch. So for example, land, buildings, machinery, vehicles, furnitures. So these are all the tangible assets. Let's say long-term assets. So PPE is also known as fixed assets or capital assets. So because these assets used more than 1 year in the production or supply of goods and services. Next, PPE is an important asset class for many businesses because it represents a significant investment of resources and it is critical to the company's operations. So huge investment is made on PPE. So it is a important assets. The company have to maintain effectively. Okay. As such, it is important to account for PPE properly to ensure that its value is accurately reflected in the financial statements. So for better understanding of financial statements, the company have to maintain accurately of PPE. Okay. There are several key concepts to understand when accounting for PPE. So these are most important concept. So while understanding PPE, we have to understand about cost, depreciation, impairment. So these are most important concepts. First of all, we have to understand about cost. The cost of PPE includes all expenditures necessary to acquire and prepare the asset for its intended use. So what is the cost? So all expenditures necessary to acquire. So to acquire the asset and prepare for the asset for its intended use. So such as, so what are the expenses included in necessary to acquire and prepare the asset? Purchase price, shipping and handling cost, installation cost, and any other cost directly related to bringing the asset into service. For example, we brought a machinery from abroad. Okay, so the purchase price is a cost, and also the shipping from abroad to India is a shipping price, also capital in nature. We have to account it as capital expense. Okay, and handling cost for asset put to use. For example, the asset brought to India and in our company for production purpose, we have to construct one basement for that. So that also capital in nature. So we have to that also include in cost for provide depreciation. Okay, next, installation cost and carry any other cost directly related to bringing the asset into use. So this is the cost. Next concept, depreciation. PP is subject to depreciation, which is the systematic allocation of the asset's cost over its useful life. Don't worry, we have one example for better understanding. First of all, we have to learn theoretical concept. So PPE is subject to depreciation, which is the systematic allocation of the asset's cost over its useful life. So depreciation is used to match the cost of the asset with the revenue it generates over time. The two most common methods of depreciation are straight line method and accelerated methods. Okay, what is the depreciation? Depreciation is the systematic allocation of the asset's cost over its useful life. For example, we bought one asset 10 lakhs. Okay, we have to depreciate that asset for 10 years based upon the how much it is used in the business. So the based upon use we have to depreciate in different methods. So popularly straight line method and accelerated methods. Okay, next impairment. Don't worry, we have an example. Next, impairment. If the value of PPE declines significantly, the asset may be impaired, which means its carrying value exceeds its recoverable amount. The recoverable amount is the higher of the asset's fair value less cost to sell and its value in use. So what is the impairment? So impairment means, for example, we bought an asset. So technological advancements, the asset get decline huge value. This is the impairment. For example, the asset may be outdated, or for example, once upon a time we bought landline for 1 lakh. So now at the came cell phone, the asset useful, but the technology got outdated. So significantly that the landline got 50,000 or 20,000 like that. So the difference, what is the amount difference is impairment for simple understanding. Now we go for example. So what are the key concepts in PPE? Cost, depreciation and impairment. So cost is the all expenditures necessary to acquire and prepare the assets for its intended use. Okay, next depreciation, next impairment. Now we go for example. Let's say the manufacturing company purchase a new machine for $1 lakh. So purchase how much? $1 lakh to be used in production process. The cost of the machine includes the purchase price $1 lakh, shipping and handling cost $5,000 and installation cost $10,000. So how much total? 1 lakh plus 5,000 plus 10,000. So the total cost of the machine is $1,15,000. So this is the amount for depreciation. So how much? $1,15,000 is the cost of the asset. The company estimates that the machine will have a useful life of 10 years and a residual value of $15,000. So how much useful life? 10 years. Residual value, what is the residual value? After 10 years they want to sell the asset, the estimated residual value is $15,000. So this is the residual value. So after 10 years the asset may be for $15,000 estimation. So this is the residual value. The company decides to use straight line method of depreciation to allocate the cost of the machine over its useful life. So how much? $1,15,000, life 10 years, residual value $15,000. The annual depreciation expense for the machine would be calculated as follows. So cost minus residual value by 10 years. So we have to reduce residual value because ultimately it have recovered $15,000. So how much? $10,000 per year depreciation. Now we will discuss about impairment in this example. So at the end of year 3, the company determines that the machine fair value has declined to $80,000 due to technological advancements in the industry. So actually how much the cost of the asset? $1,15,000. So residual value $15,000. That means, so complete how much for 10 years? $1 lakh actually. So but Now the company decides decline it to $80,000. I hope you understand. Actually for 10 years we have decided to depreciate $1 lakh. Now the company, the machine fair value has declined to $80,000 due to technological advancement. So the company estimates that the machine's value in use is $90,000. Okay, the carrying value of the machine at the end of the year 3 is how much? $70,000. So carrying amount how much? $70,000. How? For 3 years 30,000. So actual cost $1,15,000. After deducting $70,000 is the carrying amount in the books. Okay, since the carrying value of the machine exceeds its recoverable amount, so the company determines that the machine is impairment and records an impairment loss of $10,000. So what is the difference? $10,000 impairment. So $80,000 is the now estimated fair value. So $70,000 is the book value. So in its financial position, so impairment loss is $10,000. So in conclusion, PPE is an important asset class for many businesses, and it is important to account for it properly to ensure that its value is accurately reflected in the financial statements. So key concepts to understand include cost and depreciation and impairment. Okay, so this is the property, plant and equipment. Subscribe and share. Thank you.